Okay. Before I start, there are a few things. Let me discuss first with you all. Then I'll come up with my demonstration class. I'll just pause the video for a few minutes. After that, I'll continue again. Of today, and after that, we'll continue with rest of the things. Okay, fine. Let me begin with a few basic things I said. Na? SQL Server. As you all know, that SQL Server is RDBMS product, which is introduced from Microsoft in 1989 as SQL Server 1.0. And what else you do? Yes, obviously, SQL Server is for two reasons. You can manage databases, plus you can even find a support for BI features. That is called business intelligence. Business intelligence. That deals with three modules in this: SSIS, SSRS, SSAS. Integration services, reporting services, analysis services. Okay, that is one point. Second thing I would say that not only SQL Server, rather you would say that all RDBMS, all. It's always collection of two parts. Collection of two parts. One they call non-procedural, and second is procedural. Non-procedural is it deals with SQL, and procedural is what you call T-SQL, transact SQL. T-SQL, that is called transact SQL. That actually deals with programming. Okay, and second thing, if you just compare, especially on this SQL, you could say these things like it is a product from IBM. It is non-procedural language, and it is, you can call like this, common database language. Why? Since every RDBMS understands. And another most important thing is it is case insensitive. Overview of this. And how things actually work. How actually things work. Always a flow goes like this. User or application. Data will flow to SQL Server. And through that, your information reaches to database. Right? And one of the most important things that you would find, especially in T-SQL, you are made available with two types of coding process. One you call anonymous block programming. This is one part. And second is called stored block programming. Two things are there: anonymous block programming, stored block programming. And one more programming also Microsoft has introduced in it, especially for .NET developers, and that they call as CLR integration. They introduced and they disabled it. I mean, if you are in need, activate it or enable it, use it, back again, you can disable that. That is exclusively for what? .NET developer, CLR, Common Language Runtime, you call CLR. You understand? Using this CLR, we can write stored procedures, we can execute stored functions, you can execute stored triggers that are written in what? .NET languages. Yes, easy to describe. I just can say like to execute. Stored procedures. Stored functions. Stored triggers that are written in .NET languages. But what you're supposed to do? You have to enable it. How do you enable? Yes. Hope you all are aware, might be this stored procedure that's called SP configure. Are you aware of it? Configure, configuration required. SP underscore configure. So this is one system stored procedure provided by SQL Server to enable as well as disable both. What? CLR integration. I'm not talking about only CLR. There are many such features that are available in SQL Server which need to be enabled, which can be enabled and disabled. So any of the features that you want to enable and disable, you're supposed to use the same. CSP underscore what? Configure. Configure what? CLR integration. Yeah. Like that, many are there, many. Even there is one more. You can call SP underscore configure. That is called CMD shell. CMD shell. Configure. I'm just writing what are the things that you can configure. One, I said what? CLR. Second, I said what? CMD shell. You understand? So these are some of the features that requires enable and disable process. CLR, I said just now, connecting with .NET. CMD shell, that is to execute, command line statements from SQL Server. So those commands usually that works at command line. I'll give you one example. Go to command prompt. These are some of the commands like dir, date, time. Okay. These all host name. Okay. These are the commands that can be executed if CMD shell is configured. CMD shell is configured. It is also by default disabled only. CLR also by default disabled. Default disabled. This is also default disabled. Yeah, if it is already working, that is different story, but you have this. So if you are aware of this, then I won't go with this practical. If you're not, I'll just show you how to configure so that you all can get an idea of it. So you might have used this in, SQL Server development part, not in administration. I'm talking about SQL Server development classes. You might have studied this. Uday, are you aware of this, Uday? Is it you need a practical demonstration on it, or can it continue?
No, Shareef. I actually even this is the first time for me.
You don't have idea on this?
No.
Okay, fine. So let me just demonstrate this. What about Kranti, Mahi, Indrani? What about you three, please? Can you just put your thoughts on it so that I can just continue with my session, or else I'll just give a small demonstration on it.
I'm new to SQL.
That's okay. You're new to SQL. Okay, no problem. Right. That's good. Kranti?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're Kranti only. Okay. Okay, let me just give an idea for this so that you also can have a support in understanding, because this stored procedure we are going to use many a times in DBA, that is different process. But for development part also, we used to have this process, development, SQL Server development sessions. I usually take up these things in my development classes itself. So anyways, I'll just give you some idea. Open Management Studio, that is one of the tools. And you all remember this, please. This is SQL Server can be communicated by using 3 tools. Be clear on it, please. 3 tools. This is one tool, Management Studio. SQL Server Management Studio is one tool. Like this, we have another tool. another tool that is called, go to command prompt, you open the tool, SQL CMD. This is another tool to communicate with SQL Server. DBA may we use Management Studio also. DBA may we use SQL CMD also. There are some topics that to be discussed in DBA. Without SQL CMD, you can't go further on that. You can't go further. It's highly impossible. So some topics are there. Some situations will arise. For keeping those things only, Microsoft has provided such type of tools for us. They know that so-and-so environment requires a support of this tool. Keeping those things in view, they have designed this. Keeping those things in view, they develop these tools. Anyways, one more is there. One more. What is it called? SQL PowerShell. Three tools: SSMS, SQL CMD, and SQL PS. SQL PS. That is called SQL PowerShell. 3 ways to communicate with your SQL server. So anyways, we are now talking about Management Studio. So open the tool.
But Shareef, as a
Yes,
DBA, we are going to use it only SSMS, right?
No. We come across all three to use, all three.
Okay.
Should have knowledge on even SQL CMD. You should have knowledge even in SQL PowerShell. For a beginner, SQL PowerShell becomes little challenging because syntaxes go very vast in it. Lot of things to remember because you don't get a user-friendly support with SQL PowerShell. So things go a little complex in managing that. But still, I'll give you some idea, and by that you'll get to know about SQL PowerShell, how to manage administration part, the development part using SQL PS.
Okay.
Okay, Uday?
Yeah.
Okay. So now just see here. What I would do, I just call like this. Listen. I just say execute XP underscore CMD shell. Do remember this comes under, I'm talking about this now, CMD shell. I'm just checking whether it is configured in my machine or not. So that's what I want to show you. And what it is, I didn't write SP underscore. I wrote XP underscore. So as far as SQL Server is concerned, you have got various types of stored procedures. XP comes under extended stored procedure. SP comes under system stored procedure. Two different things you have in SQL Server. Now I'm talking about XP underscore. So that is called extended stored procedure. What do you want to do? Yes, you want to execute a command called date. Chalo, try. Execute. Yes, for me, it has worked. It means for me, CMD shell is configured. It's already configured. It's already enabled. Chalo, I'll show you how I get to know about it. Right. Execute sp underscore configure CMD shell. Chalo, execute this and it will show us now. Yes. Can you see here? Configured value 1, run value 1. It means it is configured and it is running. It is configured and it is running. Okay. You want to disable it? Yes, go for it. Comma 0. Yes, now disable. 1 you change to 0. Again after disable, again you check whether it's disabled or not. Yeah, configuration has been disabled, but still it is running. I don't want it to run. So for that reason, we write reconfigure. Execute. Yes, now try again. Now both are 0. Both are 0. Yes, once this is disabled, now you run this command, it will give you error with a message, SQL server blocked. SQL server blocked. Access to procedure CMD shell. You understand? Actually, for me, and if I don't know about your system, if you are using SQL Server any version, if you try this, first only you'll get error. First point only you'll get error. You'll get the same message in your personal system. So you have to You have to enable it. How do you enable? One, reconfigure. How do you disable? Same 2 lines. Disable. Enable CMD shell. To disable CMD shell. Once enable, you run now. No. Achha, you can run this also. Try. Already, let me enable. Enable, reconfigure, CMD shell date. It's working. Same command, same command, change here. Instead of date, I write time. Instead of date, I write localhost. Execute this, will return you system date. If you execute this, returns you system time. If you execute this, returns your system name. System name. Achha, localhost, it's not supporting in this one. Fine. Anyways, you try another command. Version. Microsoft Windows we are using. Version we are using Microsoft Windows. That and if you want, you can try. You can use a command dir directory execute. It will show us yes, whatever is there in this folder, Windows System 32 folder, whatever we have, that information. Yes. This is one part. And exactly same way as I enabled CMD shell, same way CLR integration. How would you do? Like this. Execute sp underscore configure CLR enabled. Check once it is enabled or not. Yeah, it's not enabled, you see. 0, 0. It means when this is disabled, if I try to execute stored procedure function, that would end up with error, saying that you can't run because CLR is disabled. You have to enable it. Same what I have shown you for CMD shell, same thing you're supposed to do for CLR enabled as well. And one more thing, one more thing. If you're not interested to remember all this stuff, what I have typed, like, sp underscore configure. So it's better you can do this through even wizard. You can do this through what? Wizard. No typing process. How would you do? Go for it. Object Explorer. Right click on the server. Go to properties. You understand? Go to, right? Or else you start like this. No problem. In another way, instead of going to properties, best you go. You can directly right click on the server and you can click on facets. Yes, one window gets opened now. When you click on, yes. Here you say here, right? Surface area configuration. XPCMD shell enable, which is true. True. CLR integration enable, which is false. It means it is not configured. CMD shell is configured, but CLR integration enable is false. How did you check this? Like this. Object Explorer, right click on the server, facets. Under facets, there is a facet name called surface area configuration. And you can see both of them. CMD shell, which is true, it means it is enabled, and CLR integration enabled, which is found to be false. It means it is disabled for me. Coming classes under administration, I'll be talking on something called DB mail process. DB mail. On that day, you'll experience how to enable database mail, how to enable SQL mail. Coming classes, we will discuss all those things. This is just to give you an idea. I have used all this stuff. Yes, go ahead, please. If you have any questions to ask me, go ahead. If not, I'll continue with the next part.
Shareef, see, being a DBA, I think where we can use these commands, this TSQL. So maybe since it's the first class with you, on the line, maybe we can, I think we can understand where we can use
Yeah,
this.
definitely. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. These things actually. I said my point. I'm saying these are the things I actually discuss in my development classes. So considering that we are going with DBA, so keeping that point in view, I just said you have idea on this or not, because this actually we don't use in administration part. This is required for developers. Administration level configuration is different. You understand, Uday?
Correct.
Administration level में those things you have to learn. How to enable DB mail, how to enable SQL mail, how to enable endpoints, how to disable endpoints. These are administration level process.
Okay.
You understand? These things we don't need at all in administration. These things. This is actually a requirement for developers. We are not here to learn coding. CLR integration purely related with coding.
Correct.
Developer will do that work.
Okay.
You understand? Just to give you an idea, I discussed all these things.
Got it.
Is this clear? You understood me what I'm saying? You're clear with what I said now?
Yeah.
Okay. So that my intention is either SQL Server can be learned through this process what I've shown you. That actually you call it as scripting. This process, this writing all these type of commands, you call scripting. If not scripting, then it can be through wizard. This is called wizard. You don't need to write command, right? Rather, you have to remember the process. Server facets. Then facets mein you have to click surface area configuration. Then you find all these things. Okay, chalo, this is one part. Now I say what SQL Server provides two types of environments. What are they? One is called standalone and second is called clustering. Yes. Now you should know what is standalone environment and what is clustering environment. And what you learn of these two, what you learn. Obviously, an overview I just call standalone will be helpful for small companies. Standalone environment. Why? Why? Simple. It has only one production server. That is the reason we go with that. Then what about clustering? Yeah, obviously this is for large companies. Why? Because they have more than one production server. And especially more than one production in the sense, how many? Yes, remember, this is what you call in clustering environments. Till this version, till SQL Server 2008, we used to have 16 nodes. 16 nodes. And now, from SQL Server 2012 and later releases. Yes, Microsoft has removed that restriction as well. Now you have no limit. You can have n number of nodes. Here all users will be connected to one server. You understand? All users will be connected to one server, single server. Here what happens? Yes, here you find group of servers will be made available. Group of servers will be made available. How? Obviously, with a common name, that is name of the server, and common IP address. Yes, that is in clustering environment. You understand? I'll give you some idea on especially standalone, so that you'll have a very clear. I'll just refer here. Here I'll refer. Architecture of standalone environment. Refer to .png file. Yes, Kranti. Yes, you're right. One node is one server. Exactly. Correct. Yes, Kranti. One node is one server. 16 servers we used to have in clustering till 2008. Now that limit also they removed. Okay? Chalo, fine.
The server means you mean to say database server or system server?
No, you're talking about database server here. Database server.
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously, when you're talking about a network environment of SQL Server, obviously SQL Server will be installed once in a server, and database server can be multiple, I mean to say. That next topic, you'll get to know about it. Next topic, I'm going to discuss something called hierarchy of SQL Server. I'm going to talk on that. Then your point will be clarified.
Okay.
Now, how actually this standalone environment will be, I'll give you some idea on this. For example, say, assume this is your SQL server software. Okay. Standalone environment, how it will be. Because you'll have only one production now. One production. Okay. This is my SQL server software. This one. Okay. Now, this SQL Server software obviously will have a database. 100%. What do you have? Database. Okay. Now, when you have database of the SQL Server, now important for me is yeah. So SQL Server, and here once I have, and this SQL Server has a database as well. Okay, let me just draw. This is your database. Yes. Let me exact representation give you so that there is no confusion. So this is your database, which looks like container. Yes, this is your database. Okay, fine. Database. Which database? Some database you assume, some database. The database is called sales database, which will contain information about sales. Okay. Sales. Yes. What is this I was saying? Obviously, this is our SQL Server, I said. SQL Server. Yeah. So let me talk. SQL Server. Yes. Yeah. How? Acha. This SQL Server, it will communicate with the database. Hope you all know. Only one language can can communicate with database. Only one language, and that is your SQL. Yes. Whether it is to store or it is to retrieve, both the cases. The only language that can talk to database is SQL language. Yes. Okay, SQL language can communicate with what? Database. The only language I'm saying, the only language that can talk to database is SQL. Okay. Now you say me, when you create a database, someone should be there, na, who is storing data into database. Obviously, let me talk. This is one web application. Okay. Now you'll understand the role of this. Say, for example, this is one website, front end. Yes. Okay, this is front end, I'm saying. This is one website. You assume this is to be like one shopping portal. Okay, this is one website. This is one website. And obviously, when you open any shopping portal, you'll have what? Pages. This is one web page. 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 What are all these? Web pages. Website is containing web pages. Okay. Now this is one shopping portal. And who is doing this process? Obviously, we are doing. So we are now end users. End user. See, somewhere you feel that you are confused, please then and there you can interrupt me and make your clarifications. Okay. Anything, you're welcome, please. You just unmute yourself. You can talk to me. If you have issues with your mic, then you can just raise your query through your chat panel, so that I'll get back to you by answering to your query. Okay. Chalo, right. Now the story, you see how it goes. End user has opened one website. That website is, I'm asking you to assume that it is a shopping portal, right? And that shopping portal is running. It is running on one server. This website is running on one server. I call IIS server. Okay. It is running on IIS server. Who developed that website? Obviously, it might be by some programmer. You better call them application team. It might be a group of programmers who develop that website. And what these people have done? Yes, this application team, what they did is they linked this website. They linked this website with the SQL Server software. Yes. They linked this application, this website, they linked with what? SQL Server. And imagine a situation. This end user has purchased products. He has purchased products from that shopping portal. He went to some category of the product. He went to some other category of the product, something like electronics section, something like, cleaning section, or it may be, something related with, hardware related section, or it may be related with, using all types of vegetable section, fruit section, all these web pages. And what that end user has done, he selected one product, he made quantity available, and finally he has purchased it. When he purchases the product, do we need his information or not? Like how much quantity he purchased, how much payment he has done, on which date he has purchased, on which time he has purchased. Do you need to record that information with you or not? If that is not recorded tomorrow, how will you deliver those products to that fellow? How will you deliver those products to him? How will you send those products to him? You should have that information with you, right? That is the reason that database is involved here.
Got you, Shareef.
Is this clear now?
Yeah. So just one question, maybe silly.
Yes, go ahead.
So once the end user start using the application and they done some transaction from the application, those information will be go to SQL or will be go to database?
No, via SQL server it goes to database.
Okay, from application to DB, there will be what do you say? It's an interconnected server. SQL.
Yes, exactly. This is like this. You can say simply. You can say this is mediator. This is mediator.
Okay.
SQL server software. Whatever we send, this will validate. This will validate. SQL server will validate before it is sent to database.
Okay. So since SQL is a mediator, how would be the database? Database would be in the different format, right?
No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Listen. SQL server is, I'll write here for your reference. SQL server is one software it is. It is one software, RDBMS based software it is. And we created one database on SQL server. We created a database through SQL server. Shall I give you an example so that this confusion completely goes now? Shall I give you an example? Easy way. See here, let me give you. See, not here. I'll take another paintbrush. Then I'll continue with this architecture, okay? Let me first complete that. See you there. These all are RDBMS products. SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, DB2, Sybase, Teradata. These all are RDBMS based products. Product information, users information, both will be stored in the same database. Yeah. Yes, Kranti, I'll get back to you. Yes. Everything is recorded, Kranti. Everything. I'll show you. First, let me make you clear on this. So, and this is my data. I'll copy this database from this picture. Okay. I just copy this only database. I'll copy. Yes. Yeah. Assume this is your database. Here I'll keep. This is database. Okay, this is my database. Now, shall I say like this? If this is a database created in SQL Server database. You understand? If this database is created in Oracle database. If this database is created in MySQL database. If it is created in DB2, it's DB2 database. If it is created in Sybase database. If it is created in Teradata database. So if you ask me, I would simply conclude with one small point, and that point is database is like your mobile handset. Mobile handset, I'm saying handset. Database is like what you say, mobile handset. You understand? It is a mobile. Then what are all these? SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL. What are all these? These are service providers. Easy reference, you understand like this. SQL, like they are like this: Airtel, Vodafone, Idea, Jio, blah blah, all that stuff. They are service providers.
Okay, got it.
They are service providers. Database is your mobile. Now, can you say me, if assume, if in my mobile, if I want to use services of Airtel, what my mobile should contain?
Airtel network.
What I should contain? If I want to use Airtel services in my mobile, what my mobile should contain?
Airtel
It
SIM.
will contain Airtel SIM.
That's so simple. Answer is that only. SIM card you need.
Yes.
SIM card. I need a SIM card of Airtel.
Airtel.
Does
Yeah.
it mean? Does it mean that when I'm using SIM card of Airtel, does it mean that my mobile is capable to have only SIM card of Airtel? No,
No.
no. The slot which is designed to insert your SIM card, it is designed in such a way that you can have a SIM card of any service provider. Any service provider. But one thing is there. You could understand easily. See, if Uday is using Vodafone, doesn't mean like we all should use Vodafone. I may be using Airtel. Girish may be using Jio. Indrani may be using something else. Kranti is using something else. Why are we changing? We think on this, na? The area where you're living, the environment where you're living. You need to check into a network environment, how the network of that particular provider is for you. You understand? It depends on where we are living. It depends on the area where we are staying. Might be the area where I'm staying, might be I may not have good services of Airtel, but I may be good with Vodafone. I'll go with Vodafone. But one thing is there. What is it? You take any service provider. All will have same tariff. Minor changes may be there. Example I'm saying, if Vodafone says that in 100 rupees you'll get 300 SMS. Airtel says in 100 rupees you may get, say for example, 250 SMS. What is the difference? Cost same, minor change. One is giving you extra, one is giving you less. Not that major difference you find. Now, as you find a SIM card is important for my handset to use services of all these service providers. Exactly same way, all databases communicate with the database using SQL. SIM replacement is SQL here. SIM is SQL. In another way, you can say like this. If at least by seeing this picture, you can know. If you are aware of SQL in, for example, SQL server. Assume that you learned SQL language thoroughly in SQL server. If you ask me, you are done with SQL language in all these softwares as well. Successfully. This is the reason I have mentioned this point. Common database language. Common. Learn SQL in one database. It means you're done with SQL in all softwares. Minor changes may be there in the syntax that you can train yourself by going through various websites, textbooks. But be good in one. Be thorough in one. The rest you can, just like that, you can manage. Is this clear now, Uday?
Sir.
Yes, yes.
Exactly. Now you recollect now, same situation. SQL Server is software through which I'm managing sales database.
Okay.
First comes software, then comes database. Without SQL Server, database has no meaning at all. Database cannot go further at all. It doesn't work at all. Okay, and now listen. Imagine this application team, I'll just mention here so that there is no confusion for us. I'll mention here. What I will mention, two things I'll mention. Application team, that is front end. And the SQL Server part is, this is back end. Yeah. This is front end part, this total on the left side. And this complete is back end part. And I'll just draw this as a, separator so that you'll get to know what actually you're going to do with this. What I will do, yeah, I'll better just use some other line so that, this part you can say. Yeah, this is separator. Yeah, two partitions you can assume, two partitions. Left side is your, what do you call, left side is your front end. Left side is front end. Right side is what you call your back end. Okay, comfortable now? Left side of that line is front end, right side is back end. So this complete is back end part, this complete. This is back end, this is left front end. Now, imagine another situation will arise now, another situation. Imagine, do you really feel that a person who is working on this website and whatever the products that person is ordering and whatever the products he has already purchased, every information of him is recorded here in database. It is recorded. Everything is recorded, everything. Now, my point is, do you feel end user will know all that stuff, what is happening in the backend? End user will know that? Definitely not. That is what for end user backend. The word itself says backend, which is not visible for him. It is only to his assumption that, oh, someone is there who is storing data. Someone is there who is processing data. Only that point he knows, but you don't know that that website is using SQL Server. That SQL Server has one database. That database name is so and so. That database has so and so blocks. That database has so and so memory. That fellow will not know all these things. He only knows how to work on website. He is not aware of what is happening in the back end. Obviously, he is not aware. He is not aware. But situations, now I see situation, how it arises. Now, for example, imagine end user is, say, for example, has all the products he purchased, and all that information was storing here in database. In this database, it was storing. Some problem happened. This database has been failed. The database gone out of service. Then what is the situation of end user? He is not aware of that backend where something is happening. You understand? He is not aware. But database has got some problem. He will not be knowing about that problem. He will not be knowing anything about it. But finally, the situation is that company has to bear a loss now. Because if his information is not recorded, you are losing one, you are losing your what? Sales. If that fellow's information is not available, then how will you deliver him those products? How will you deliver? How will you know whether he has purchased or not, whether he has made payment or not? That is the reason what companies will do. They will create exactly a copy of this server. Copy, I'm saying. Yes. Exactly copy of this. They create a duplicate environment of this, describing it into two ways. How? The first one, what they have created, they call as primary or principal server. Yeah. Yes. Primary or principal server. This one they call, this one. Yes. And they create this one, the other one, which is a clone we have, na, copy. This they call as secondary or standby server. Secondary or standby server. Yes. And they link these two. They link. These two they link. Yes. They link. How will they link? Yeah, that is what we are going to study in my coming classes. One concept that is called mirroring. Second, they call log shipping. Yes, we configure this. These are called high availability of data. What do you call? High availability of data. One of the powerful topics that we are going to discuss quite more in detail in my coming classes. Total 4 ways are there. 4 ways you can make your database highly available. 4 topics are there. 4 topics. Let me call on them. 1, replication, mirroring, log shipping, clustering. I talk about only 2 now. Mirroring, log shipping. Yes. So this primary server, standby server, will link. Why you linked? Reason. If at all, in some way or by some chance, primary server is failed. Some reason, primary server is failed. Immediate standby should become primary for you. What should become? Yes. Yes. When this should become? Yeah, I just draw dashes here so that you can understand that. Yes, connected. When standby should become primary? If failed. Who failed? Primary server failed. If failed. If this is failed, automatic standby should become secondary. Standby should become primary for you. That is the reason whenever this end user was purchasing the products, his information was getting stored here actually, and the same information was getting cloned. The same information was getting cloned in standby server as well. Because by some reason, if this primary server is failed, this standby becomes primary, and whatever the information he already purchased, his information was there in the original database, and the same was copying in standby as well. Now he will continue with that standby server. End user will not know all this. That will happen in backend process. End user will not be knowing, and that fellow should not be known also. He is not involved in all that stuff. Achha, now imagine another situation. Now the situation is, for example, now this is failed. No? This is failed. Imagine this is not failed in the daytime when DBA is at the office. When DBA was at office, this was not failed. It was successfully working. DBA left the office at somewhere like 6 o'clock. And after that, somewhere at 7:30 p.m., this server got failed. Which one? Primary server got failed. Immediate. What will happen? Yes. Now remember. What will happen? Yeah, we will install one tool here. We will install. DBA will install one tool. What is the tool? They call ticketing tool. Ticketing tool. You have to install this. And this ticketing tool, many are there. A big list we have, big list. A big list. Few I'll write for your knowledge. Few I'll write. One they HPSD, one tool. One they call Kayako, one more tool, ticketing tool. One they call BMC Remedy. Like that, list is there, list. I won't mention all of them. So just for your knowledge, I said I'll write few of them. These are all ticketing tools.
Even service now also we are using it.
Yes. Many I'm saying, list is the big list. We got latest even new tools that are made available now. And you know what will happen? Yes. Application team here. We are here. DBA here. DBA. He is DBA. I'll mention DBA. Yeah, he's DBA. Now what will happen is in SQL Server, we are going to configure. What will you configure? Yes, that is called DB mail. What do you call? DB mail, database mail. As email will be there, email, this is DB mail. Yes. This DB mail will automatically mail. It will mail. This ticketing tool will mail to DBA. It will mail to DBA. It will mail to client for whom this website and this database environment is created. And even it will mail to this application team to know that so and so server has been what? Failed. 1 second, charging is over. 1 second. Yeah. Here. So immediate this ticketing tool is going to send mail to DBA. It will send the mail to DBA. And it will send the mail to the client also for whom this website is developed. This setup is created. he will be sent a mail saying that so and so website of yours, which was working on database, has been failed with respect to this. And even application team to be aware of that failure of that primary server. Acha, that too how? Based on priorities that you set in it. Priorities. If the priority is critical indicates that DBA should instant react. Instant DBA should react. Yes, and see that the problem is rectified immediately. And it is again make that server as ready. Already standby has become primary. So makes primary to become standby again. Activate it. Don't make it, don't delay that problem. And if you look into this total architecture, our efforts are very less. Our efforts. Our work is only 30% of our work. Maximum efforts will be with these people. Front-end team, always there is 70% of the work in this total architecture is front-end process. And our work is hardly 30% will be of our work. 70% of efforts are front-end people's efforts and 30% work is our work. That makes your total application to run at 100%. Yes, this is the simple and easy way to understand what stand-alone environment. Yes, you have anything still to ask me? Go ahead. Go ahead, please. Any questions you have on it, go ahead. If not, we'll wind up this session.
No, I'm fine.